Mom, if you're listening to this, we would ask about the zip ties.
I believe Kate was cheating on me during my marriage.
She's been putting on this facade to the media.
He slept in the basement of my house.
And for me, I have nothing to hide. I always say there's the truth and then there's the truth from Kate Gosselin's point of view.
But TLC didn't say anything because he's in charge of security for the network.
Do the right thing, tell the truth, come clean, but let's fix the past before we button it all up in flowers and rings, you know? I would like to invite my mom to do a lie detector test. And that would be one of the questions. Mom, if you're listening to this, we would ask about the zip ties. And I would also let her ask questions like, were you ever violent towards your siblings? Did you ever put your hands on your siblings? Stuff like that. I want to get into everything. And this is where we are both hooked up to lie detectors, heart monitors, everything. I mean, they test for everything. And we can either ask each other questions or we can have an interviewer ask us questions. And that to me is just basically saying, like, for so long, she's been putting on this facade to the media. I mean, even before TikTok. And for me, I have nothing to hide. I want to ask her these questions. We can even do a live stream too. I want these questions to be put out there. I want us to be hooked up to a machine that can catch any ifs, ands, buts, faults, lies, anything. I mean, I want the truth to be told. I always say there's the truth and then there's the truth from Kate Gosselin's point of view. So let's just put it all out there. This is my formal invitation to her.
What else do you want to ask her in lie detector?
So first things, I definitely want to address the zip ties because people love to say, oh, like he's lying about abuse, which I want to say that's the main problem when kids come forward about abuse, when we call them liars, when we try to shut them down, when we try to muffle their voices. This is the problem. And mind you, I will do this. I will fight this fight every single day. People can go on social media and say that whatever, this and that, they can call me names, but I'm an advocate for those children and even grown adults who are still in my comments telling me like I'm 50-something years old and I still struggle with these things. I'm a voice for them and people can hate on me all day long. And it's a very small majority that are saying these things, but you know, you can try to discredit me, but I will be that voice and I will be that advocate. So first things we would ask about that. I want her to ask me about the violence that she claims I had against my siblings and my dangerous and violent tendencies. Let's ask about that. And then another thing, fiscal matters, so any financial matters. I want to ask about where all the money disappeared in the court documents that I've been reading. And yes, I'm an adult now. I'm going to do my own research. Everybody loves to say, oh, this was definitely John behind this. It was definitely John behind this. I'm an adult now. When these documents have my name on them and my siblings' name on them, I will find and justify the means of their money and my money. And we will find the truth. So on the lie detector, I would love to ask her about all these financial matters. So I'm sure she's going to watch this and be a little bit scared, but let's just put it all out there. I don't have anything to lose. I know you do. So let's put it out there.
I believe Kate was cheating on me during my marriage. Oh yeah, he did. He slept in the basement of my house. As soon as it aired on TLC Monday nights at 9 o'clock, which was our time slot for like 10 years, became the #1 show on cable. And I lived like I live now in a development with a driveway and people came. So then the network provided security for us, 24/7 security. And Steve he headed the risk management company for Discovery. So he supplies all the security for all the talent. If you need DOD security and you go travel abroad and you have to work with the Department of Defense, he handles all that stuff. So I met him in about, I'm gonna say 2007, around there. The big thing is when we went to Utah and we had to travel with all these kids, now we're on TLC, and that was a 2-hour special, and like Beth and her daughter came and all these people were involved, you know, it's just a lot of coordination. That's when it really kind of provided security. Later on, we had security teams because my kids were more mobile and those kind of things. TLC didn't really say anything until I said something about stuff, but TLC didn't say anything because he's in charge of security for the network. So they're not questioning his motives at that time. If you look at timeline, he's with us in 2007, vow renewal in 2008. We start talking about divorce and separation in January of 2009. I go to meet Dr. Phil about some marriage contract, sorry for swearing. And then she files for divorce in June of 2009. So it like went pretty fast in retrospect to time. I'm just more concerned about when it actually transpired, because I know for a long, long time, at least 17 years, that they've been canoodling or together or anything. And, you know, like Collin said in his TikTok, he was just like, just come out with it. Just tell, what's the difference? Why do you keep on lying about timeline. You know, it's just, it would make more sense. But obviously it's been longer than a year because I know for a fact, you know, there's been witnesses, and I do have children and have a relationship with my children. They've told me stuff.
How long do you think they've actually been dating for?
I think steadily, probably 10 years. But we're planning or thinking about it for probably 15 maybe. So like 5 years, and then 10 years they actually started doing stuff, and then now they're just coming out. Listen, I was labeled a cheater by TLC and Kate for 17 years. They created fictitious stories about me, pumped them out in the public, put me on a gag order so I couldn't defend myself. And that was for contract because they sued me, but they really were gonna sue me. Our divorce didn't end because I was cheating. Our divorce ended because I knew she was seeing Steve. I knew I didn't want to film anymore. And I knew my kids weren't happy filming all the time. So those are the three things. And then I had the network pushing back against me. And you know, when I left, they just created the narrative that I was cheating and I was moving on and doing other things. All meanwhile, I know these two were still hooking up or doing whatever.
I absolutely believe it is Steve. Even before any articles came out, I always had information pertaining to a relationship with him. However, I always believed that advocating for abuse and things that went on in the home and just any bad things that come from reality TV, I always believed that those were higher on the list of priority versus talking about her relationship with him. However, when it does pertain to it being cheating, I think that's a different story. My only thing is that I can see her playing this off, it being somebody else, magically like some pawn, prop man or something, or her saying, oh, you know, well, this really did just start, you know, about 15 months ago when, you know, the signs were always there. Pictures, people would see them out in Berks County together. I mean, we have pictures of them in North Carolina together. And actually, my sister, Hannah, has spoken to me and my dad about him actually living in the home. I remember he used to stay over here and there, like some nights, maybe if it was like before vacation or something like that, where we'd leave the home and he'd be coming with us. However, it was later on that Hannah revealed that he was like literally living at the house with them. So when we would go on vacation, she was always very close with him, like whether that was in the bus or in the limousines or anything like that. And that was in front of all my siblings. However, later on, my mom would start to keep me in the hotel room with her, either in a connected room or in a hotel room on a cot, on like those rollout cots. But Steve was always very, like he would come in the room and be very close with her, very touchy, and with me right there. And she would either keep me there or in a connected room. And I do remember in Mexico, I was in a connected room and he stayed in the same hotel room as her. So this was not news to me. There also was another bodyguard that was hired on for Mexico, and I think he was local, native to Mexico. And she would actually keep me back with him so that Steve could go out with them and do whatever. Or if the kids stay with the babysitters, she would go out with Steve. So this was nothing new to me. I do not believe it's been a year. They were always very close, and like the signs were there of romantic involvement or an affair because things were always very shady. So I don't buy oh, it's been a year. I mean, maybe she's okay talking about it now, especially since Steve's divorce with his wife. And mind you, I'm not here to slander Steve. I actually do want to put a good point in here that oftentimes when Steve would come on vacations with us, I actually felt very safe because he used to actually defend me against her. In the sense that my mom always treated me very differently than my siblings, and anybody could see that. Anybody that she was comfortable doing that around. And oftentimes on vacations, it was nice having Steve there because he would literally defend me and tell her, like, stop, like, stop.
There was other people in the picture. I think his name was Jeff. Did that really happen? You're like trying to cover up. And, you know, Kate has lying issues. She says one thing and then says another. If you go to the People magazine article, she undisputedly denied it, and now she doesn't want to fall back on her word. You know, I mean, in certain situations, it's one thing, but like, if it was happening then you should just admit it and just say you lied. America's pretty forgiving. I mean, we forgive a lot. People do a lot of messed up things, and we're just like, oh, cool, you know, all right, go play baseball, go play football, do whatever you want, you know. So I don't know. I think it's just funny that you would just create another fictitious story when you could just own up to it.
Do the right thing. Tell the truth. Come clean. If you get married, congratulations. that's good on you, but let's fix the past before we button it all up in flowers and rings, you know?